Welcome to our telephone town hall meeting we're having tonight. If you have a question of the Councilwoman, please hit zero. Hit zero on the keypad on your phone, and we'll get you and your question up to her as soon as possible. Kristine, tell people why we're having this telephone town hall meeting tonight.
Good evening, everyone, and I appreciate everyone joining in and listening in to this telephone town hall. We decided to have this telephone town hall based on our budget, and mainly because now is the time of year that we start revving up through the budget process, and we decided that now was a good time, not just to hear from residents about what their input is, but to kind of let them know the financial state of the city. And as you know, as with many cities and many towns across the country, we've seen some major decreases in our revenues, and just this year alone, we've seen a 23% decrease in assessed property values. So now is the time. Now is the time to give us your input, decide if what you want us to do is cut, make those hard decisions, make those difficult cuts, or if you're okay with fees for service. And it's been a hot topic amongst us council members, and it's something that I believe that we need to hear from you about.
Next, we're going to take CJ. CJ, welcome to our telephone town hall meeting we're having tonight. CJ, what's your question, please?
Yes, I want to know that what are the plans for the community center off of Port Malabara Road? We hear a lot of rumors that $350,000 a year cost to operate that thing. All the racquetball courts closed down, they're not doing anything about it. Are they looking at closing this thing? Can you share any light on this thing?
Well, I'll start, and I'm going to let the city manager finish on her plans for the budget. But I know that it's in the budget to sort of upgrade the community center because for many, many years it's been neglected. But I know that we're right now looking at the revenues coming in for memberships and otherwise in rentals at the community center to see if we can somehow even out those costs so it isn't a hit on our budget. Because although a lot of people don't want to invest in the community center, there are a lot of people that go there that do. So right now we're weighing that. We're going to go through, when we go through the budget process at the workshops, we're going to look at our numbers hard and decide at that point if it's something that we're willing to invest in, because the community center needs a lot of work, and we have to decide at this point if we want to make that investment and if right now is a good time.
This is Sue Hann, the city manager, and I just wanted to follow up a bit on the question about the community center. We had a small grant that allowed us to do some community outreach recently where we did some focus groups with some of the users of the community center. We also did a very small targeted telephone town hall meeting with just the neighbors in the area, like within walking distance of the community center. And we talked to them about, what's important for the community center to be for them, to serve the folks that live in that general area. So as the Councilwoman mentioned, we're trying to figure out what's the best way that we can use that space in a cost-effective way, because it does cost a lot to keep the lights on and make sure that the building is usable. So we're trying to look at different things that we can do there, and I think that our Parks and Recreation staff is going to be coming back to Council with some ideas for them to consider probably within the next 30 to 60 days.
We're going to take Roberta next. Roberta, welcome to our telephone town hall meeting we're having tonight. Roberta, what's your question, please?
Hi, my question is, if there were not to be a millage increase, if it were to stay the same, what services would be cut?
That's up for council to decide, Ms. Roberta. I mean, we have to decide at this point what our responsibilities are as a city. Now, we may have different ideas on what can be cut. I know several things have come across the bow over the last several months and over the last 2 to 3 years regarding many of our union negotiations and contracts and benefits and that sort of thing and retirements, and that's often been an area of contention among many of us council members. But, we have to do that in our family budgets every month. I know we sit down and we figure out our bills and we decide what we're going to do, and I think as a city it's our responsibility to do that. I mean, we can keep going to the taxpayer, but there's going to be a point where they're going to say enough is enough. And I think that time is now. I think we need to tread water. We need to do with as little as possible. And although layoff is a bad word, especially if you're sitting amongst a room full of city employees, but that's the reality that we're in. I mean, and sometimes those decisions are hard ones to make, but we have to make them.